and welcome back to Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast, where we travel from a galaxy far, far away to Vought Tower, Russia, and wherever our fandom may take us, breaking down and discussing all nerd culture properties and cinema galore. I'm your host, David Cochran, and here with me today are my co-hosts, Jeremy Darr and Caleb Culver. How we doing today, boys?
Doing good.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. So today we will be covering The Boys Season 3, written and developed by Eric Kripke. But before we jump into that, we like to start our day off right with something we like to call our Week in Geek. All right. JD, you got something for us this week?
Yeah, so it looks like we have a confirmed word that MODOK is going to be a secondary villain in Ant-Man Quantumanium. I'm not a huge fan of this character. I've never been interested in the comics. He's like a weird giant floating head. He's just really smart, and he kind of, plays the game like a chessboard, and apparently he's a good villain. But he is confirmed to be in the movie, so I don't know if I'm excited about it, but it is news.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have comic experience with him. The only thing, I always see him because it sticks out. He's a giant freaking head and like a tiny little robot legs dangling. Just cinder block of a head. Just a super weird character. So he sticks out, but I've never seen him in any media other than I don't know why I did, but I watched the Hulu series that came out last year, MODOK. It's animated comedy, and it was just awful. I think I laughed once. I think I chuckled a little bit once. So I don't know why I watched it, but that's the only thing I've seen him in. I know he's in video games and stuff, but it'll be interesting to see how they do that live action. Love, you got any experience with MODOK?
I've only seen him in the Avengers video game. He's the main villain in that.
Oh, okay. I didn't make it far enough.
Which is one of the main reasons why that game is not very good. So, yeah, I'm not too excited for that. He's the secondary villain to Kang, though, so yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I want to say I don't know if it's the same thing. Our thousands of fans in the comments section can correct me if I'm wrong, but if he's the supreme intelligence of the Kree, I don't know if they're the same or different, but when I read a comic when it was the supreme intelligence of the Kree, if that's the same character, that was like the one time he was pretty interesting. But
okay,
I want to say they're different. But another thing about this movie,
yeah.
Go ahead. What about the movies?
I was just gonna say in the movies we've seen the supreme intelligence already. In Captain Marvel, so they probably won't go that direction with this.
And he was kind of like a big floating head on the screen or something, right?
He was whatever the person pictured them in their head. So like Captain Marvel, it was her Air Force instructor, her commanding officer from the Air Force.
So we haven't seen it like a manifested thing unless it's something.
No, nobody, the whole thing they kept saying, Jude Law kept saying, is nobody knows the true form of the supreme intelligence. So I guess it could be.
I think that might be MODOK. I'm just really not sure because it's never been that interesting.
Okay. But yeah, we got Kang in that, so that'll be good. Yeah.
And apparently it all takes place, or primarily takes place in the quantum realm.
See, that'll be interesting. I think they have a chance to kind of make up for Multiverse of Madness's lack of creativity when it came to multiversal stuff, or something like that. We could possibly see some really cool stuff. There's supposed to be Kang's City is supposed to be in the quantum realm in the comics. So yeah, that opens up a lot of room for creativity and really cool visuals. So that could be cool.
I'm just wondering if it's all tied, if the quantum realm is tied to the time stream that got jacked up in Loki, and if the time stream is connected to the multiverse, which got jacked up in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. And it seems like they should all be connected, but at this point, they, we haven't heard anything about them being connected. There's been no ramifications of Loki, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. No. So it all seems to be separate so far.
Yeah, 3 broken multiverses, and we still have no idea which is actually the cause of the main thing we're going into. So, yep. Caleb, you got anything for us?
I do.
All right, what do you got?
George R.R. Martin has provided an update on the Winds of Winter
Oh.
Hey.
from his website, not a blog. He's still working on it, but is coming up with new ideas for characters.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
Oh, dude, I thought it was a release date.
Sorry, continue.
No release date yet. But we have some fun stuff.
Okay.
Quote, another question that I get a lot, especially since the end of Game of Thrones on HBO, is whether A Song of Ice and Fire will end the same way. An architect would be able to give a short, concise, simple answer to that, but I am much more of a gardener. He continues, what I have noticed more and more of late, however, is my gardening is taking me further and further away from the television series. Yes, some of the things you saw on HBO in Game of Thrones, you will also see in The Winds of Winter. And really, when you think about it, this was inevitable. The novels are much bigger and much more complex. All right, the last thing, the big part.
Yeah.
One thing I can say, in general terms, that I will not be spoiling anything, not all of the characters who survived until the end of Game of Thrones will survive at the end of Ice and Fire. And not all of the characters who died on Game of Thrones will die in the Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay. I would have hoped so. Yeah, the whole thing with that too is it just sucks. I say this all the time, but I wish he would have finished it, because now we'll truly never get the original untampered vision of George R.R. Martin's conclusion. Because no matter what he says, the fact is the show came out, the world saw it, and even if it's the smallest voice in the back of his head saying, hey, the show did it that way, there's gonna be something tampering with it. So it's a bummer we don't get the original vision, but hopefully we get a vision at some point in our life.
Yeah, dude. If you have, the organic creativity came from a place where no one even knew what Game of Thrones was. When he originally was writing the first few books, that was the most organic his creativity could have been. And now that, like you said, it's watched by millions of people. So there's no way he's disregarding the public's opinion at all. It's not organic anymore. He's not going to create the story he would have created. But whatever, at least he is doing something different, so we don't know what to expect. There's a lot of story threads that are happening in the books that have nothing to do with the movies. Spoiler warning, including Catelyn Stark is a freaking zombified version of herself, seeking revenge on everyone involved in the Red Wedding. The Red Wedding was different itself. Rob's wife was gone. He had the foresight to send her somewhere else, so her and her pregnant belly didn't get stabbed and murdered.
I don't think she's pregnant either.
For sure, yeah.
That's not even the same character. It's a different name. It's a different girl.
Different name. Ramsay's married to someone different. Jane Poole, not married to Sansa. There's someone named Victarion Greyjoy running around, kind of playing Euron's role, but Euron's still in the books doing the King's Moot and all that stuff. So there's plenty of things.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a ton of different stuff. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I just don't believe it's ever going to get released. So I'm just not going to hold my breath.
Right, I know. If it happens, cool. I will buy the audiobook.
All right. Just real quick, one character who died in the show that you think will survive in the books.
One character. All right. Again, JD already said it, but spoilers in case you haven't seen Game of Thrones. One character that dies in the show that we don't think will die in the books. Yeah,
and then opposite, someone who survived in the show that you think will die. One person I hope that survives, it would be Jaime. I feel like he probably won't in the books either, but I would like to see him survive. Mm-hmm. And then die, I said Jon Snow maybe, because I could just see that happening, him sacrificing himself at the end. Or Brienne. I think Brienne's going down a dark path right now. So
who?
Brienne.
Brienne?
Brienne. Brienne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brienne. Okay.
The big woman.
Brienne of Tarth.
Okay. That's tough. JD, you want to go first? I'm still thinking.
I'm going to say the biggest deaths. I'm going to say Dany will survive.
Nah, there's no way.
I think Jaime there's a way. Survive? I think Dany.
Wait, did you say Jaime or Dany?
Dany.
Oh, that was kind of going to be my pick too. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, just because that's so huge, and he might want someone that wants to be in charge of the Seven Kingdoms. Like Bran isn't Bran the king of the Seven Kingdoms at this point? Like, I don't see that being the end of the book. Dany wants the throne, so I mean, I think she'll do that. That would be extremely different and surprising, and I think that's fine with me. As far as who
lives in the show but you think would die in the book?
I don't think Jon, because they already did his death in the book. I don't think they'll do a second Jon Snow death. I'll go with Arya. Arya, however you say it. Yeah.
Okay. We're just forgetting how to pronounce all the characters' names.
It's been so long.
Okay, Arya will die for you. You keep taking that. I'm not even kidding. That was my two main things I was thinking of was Daenerys and Arya. Okay, I will have Cersei surviving, I guess, and Tormund dying. I don't know. You guys took all the good ones. I don't know.
Bold move.
They're gonna kill off the biggest character in the book, Tormund Giantsbane.
We're not going to get the Brienne of Tarth and Tormund romance anymore.
I know. It's okay. He'll write a spinoff before he finishes The Winds of Winter. All right. Is that all you got for the Game of Thrones update there, Caleb?
That's about it for now, until 2 years from now when the book maybe comes out.
All right. So we'll see you in 2024 covering Winds of Winter. Tune in then on Monday.
Yes.
Okay. Then I guess I'll go to mine. I'm pretty excited about these that I got. Well, we'll start with this movie. So there's a movie coming out called Amsterdam, and I just kind of wanted to touch on this real quick. Me and Caleb kind of talked about it earlier today, but very exciting movie is coming out. Called Amsterdam. It is set in the 30s. It follows three friends who witness a murder, become suspects themselves, and uncover one of the most outrageous conspiracy plots in American history. It's directed by David O. Russell. He did Silver Linings Playbook, The Fighter, American Hustle. He's got a lot of really good films under his belt. I love all three of those. And the cast is freaking insane. I don't know how they do movies like this with these ensemble casts, but the cast list is Margot Robbie, Christian Bale, Anya Taylor-Joy, Robert De Niro, Michael Shannon, Timothy Olyphant, John David Washington, Zoe Saldana, Rami Malek, Chris Rock, Taylor Swift for some reason, and then a few other not huge names. But that's just insane in itself. And the three main characters are Christian Bale and John David Washington. They're soldiers who met in the war, become best friends, and they're also best friends with Margot Robbie, who's a nurse. But it's going to follow those three characters around mainly. I'm super excited about it. I don't know if you guys have really heard anything about it, but that's a lot of talent in one movie right there.
Yeah, it sounds like an awesome cast. I wonder if Margot Robbie is going to be the Blake Lively of Savages.
Oh my God. Oh, I don't want to say.
Oh my God.
That'd be cool.
Good movie.
Oh shit.
All right. So I'll hop on to my more exciting piece. No, I'm going to end with my exciting piece. Real quick, we'll touch on Emmy nominations. So Stranger Things 4 received 13 Emmy nominations, including Outstanding Drama Series, Outstanding Prosthetic Makeup for Vecna, and Outstanding Music Supervision for the episode Dear Billy. That's obviously the Kate Bush is running up that hill. Moon Knight received 8 Emmy nominations, surprisingly, one of them being for F. Murray Abraham's voiceover performance, which, I mean, it was a good voiceover performance, I guess, but odd. But they got it for outstanding cinematography, sci-fi costumes, music composition, sound editing, sound mixing, stunt coordination, and stunt performance. Now, keep in mind, Loki only got 6 Emmy nominations, so little odd. I feel like Loki was much more well put together series. But yeah, so MCU, Netflix, everything we covered, blowing up the Emmy nominations right now. So we'll see who takes them home. But my most exciting piece of news coming in. So rumors came out a few days ago regarding Ryan Gosling being in talks with Marvel Studios about an undisclosed role. More rumors started spilling in, coming out suggesting it was regarding the character Nova, which, we've
JD's boy
talked a lot about. But before you get too excited, Ryan Gosling apparently was sick of the rumors that were pouring out like crazy. So he actually addressed it, came out and debunked the rumor, and threw in at the end that he confirmed that he would like to play Ghost Rider. Which totally different roles there, but I'm down. If they want to do Ghost Rider and they want to throw Ryan Gosling in there, I'm all in. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think he's pretty solid in all of his roles. So I think it's a welcome addition to the MCU.
Yeah. I mean, Ghost Rider is such an interesting character, and he was, he's been a part of the Avengers, especially in the most recent comics, which I am not fully caught up on, like the modern day. But it's just a cool character. It's a freaking flaming skull, so I'm in.
Yeah, gotta cover up that pretty face of Ryan's, but I guess you got to do it. All right, that'll wrap it up here for our Week in Geek. Now we're going to head on over to our main topic of the day. Before you continue listening to this episode, this is your official spoiler warning. So if you've not seen the content that we are about to cover, go ahead and go watch it real quick before you continue on. Or don't, I guess. Your call. All right, so we will kick it off with a nice 60-second recap from the one and only Caleb Culver. All right, Caleb, you got 60 seconds to wrap up season 3 of The Boys as best you can. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, I like it. I like the confidence. All right. You ready? And go.
Dawn of the 7 premiere. Homelander has to answer for Stormfront. She's still alive? After a quick handy, she kills herself. Butcher gets 10th B from Maeve. The boys learn of a weapon that depowers soups. They head to Russia. Turns out it's Soldier Boy who is suffering from some PTSD. Soldier Boy wants to take out his old team Payback before taking care of Homelander. Herogasm? Enough said. Homelander vs. Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Huey. He barely escapes. A-Train gets his revenge on Blue Hawk. Huey starts to realize Soldier Boy isn't that great too. Butcher gets stuck in an endless nightmare about his childhood, but doesn't tell Huey when he finds out Compound B is fatal.
15 seconds.
Kamiko, after losing her powers, realizes she needs them back. Homelander meets Ryan. Maeve double-cross. Soldier Boy and Butcher lock the new boys in the safe so they can take care of Homelander. Big showdown. Soldier Boy back on ice. Homelander unhinged.
Nice.
All right. I mean, obviously miles better than mine last week. To be fair, I went off the top of my head without thinking about it. So if the audience thinks I sounded just, absolutely incompetent, I winged it. All right. He did better than me. All right. Yep. That was a pretty good wrap up. You made it almost through the whole season, I think.
I missed a couple things. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard.
You made the season sound better than I felt like it was.
Whoa. Yikes. Tell us how you really feel. All right. All right. So we're going to, first half of season 1 was a little over 2 months ago now. It's been a minute. So we'll touch on that before we really dive deep into the meat of the last 3 episodes of this season where things got real. So yeah, we kicked off season 1 with the Dawn of the 7 premiere, which is hilarious because season 2 ended with Homelander, fighting Butcher and Stormfront fighting everybody there. Stormfront getting absolutely wrecked. Homelander having to leave because Maeve blackmailed him with the airplane video. And we start season 3 off with Homelander having to stand there and take pictures with all of them. Huey bumps into Homelander. Pretty funny little exchange there. So I thought it was a pretty creative way to start off the season. It's just a whole press conference thing for the whole Dawn of the 7. And in it, Homelander continuously has to answer for why he was dating a Nazi. Stormfront, comes out as a Nazi. So he's just getting grilled every single time he gets on TV. And they do a little news clip where it's like 9 to 12 simultaneous different news clips. And it's all playing at the same time. And it's basically, again, all different news stations, but it's Homelander saying the exact same thing. I mean, it's just scripted word for word kind of thing. And it kind of was a reference, it felt like, to a video that came out last year during everything that was going on of like 12 to 15 news outlets. And somebody made a compilation video and it was literally like they're all reading from the same script, which is crazy. It's not like they're all reading from one big script or something anyway, but it was a little throwback to that, it felt like. So You guys got anything to say about the whole premiere, the kickoff to season 1, or why Stormfront is around? Anybody know why they brought her back?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. But the one thing I really liked about the one funny thing about Stormfront and Homelander's relationship was she was always trying to restart the Aryan race, and he was like, "Whoa, whoa, shut up! Like, no, I don't want to do that. Take it easy."
It's like, how many times do I have to tell you? We don't need a master race. Yeah, it was weird. All of a sudden, Stormfront's on the bed. They could have easily let her die. She should have died from what happened, probably. And they just have her in for the first episode just to give Homelander a handy and then to kill herself off screen, apparently. It didn't even explain that. And we never touched back to that for the whole rest of the season. I thought there would be some plot point, but it seemed pretty much just to have a half-dead woman giving Homelander a handy. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like they go out of their way in the show to put us through some uncomfortable situations.
Totally. There's so many unnecessary scenes like that where it's just like, okay, what am I watching right now? I hope nobody walks in the room. So yeah, that was super awkward or super random. So anyway, we start getting into the meat of the season. V24, which is temporary V, gives the user superpowers for 24 hours. They're trying to sell it to the military. And Maeve gets a hand of it, gives it to Butcher, explains it all to Butcher. You know, he says, "Me, out of all people, why would you think I would want to be one of you?" And he goes to dump it out. Homelander lands in his little kitchen thing, and Homelander and Butcher have the first of a few different interactions throughout this season that's really building on the arc and the relationship between Butcher and Homelander, which has been very interesting as it's grown. I just rewatched season 1, so you see the start of it and stuff, but it's just a really unique relationship. Homelander comes to Butcher and is literally venting to him about how his life is unfair and all of these issues he's having, as if he's Madeline Stillwell. And then they get to the end of it where apparently in Homelander's sake, he's like, "Hey, can we just kill each other at the end of all this? Just forget all the BS. Can we just fight to the death?" And Butcher loves it. You know, he's all in. And that's the end of it. And that convinces Butcher, all right, I need to take this Temp V because now I got a shot to fight Homelander. And that kicks off the whole plot line to the whole Temp V thing. What did you guys think about Temp V and Butcher's powers you got from it? JD, what did you feel about it?
All right, so I don't like the temporary V. It reminds me of something that took me out of the Injustice comics, which was that weird temporary pill that made everyone stronger.
Yeah, that's right.
That made like Alfred was fighting Superman, and it's for me like one of the strengths of like season 1 was the fact that our protagonists were unpowered, and they were still putting up a great fight, not physically, but through unique writing, they were putting up a really good fight. So it feels like, I don't want to say lazy writing because this show is not lazy with this writing, but it's just a way to make our protagonists super strong so they can like, you know, fight the bad guys. So I'm not a huge fan of the temporary V.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of doesn't make the show writers have to be as creative and how the boys can keep up with the suits. Yeah, I agree with that. What about you, Leb?
Yeah, it took me kind of a while to agree with Butcher's decisions on Temp V, just like character-wise, because he was like so against soups and wanted to kill all the soups. And it's like, okay, so now you're going to be a soup to destroy a soup, which I guess is kind of the deeper meaning between Butcher and Homelander. Butcher is becoming Homelander to destroy Homelander.
Right.
You know,
right.
So, I mean, I guess it's kind of a dual meaning there.
Yeah. And yeah, Butcher, obviously, he goes down a dark path in this season to where if you're a Butcher fan like me, got to a point where it was kind of hard to defend him. But so on the rewatch, I did notice they totally foreshadow it. Butcher has that dream where he's watching the TV and Homelander's talking, and he goes to the Temp V, and then Homelander starts talking to him through the TV. He's like, "You're really going to take that? What are you doing there?" And he says basically, "Yeah," or something. And Homelander's like, "Really? You're going to stoop that low, huh?" And Butcher goes, "Oh, you have no idea. I'll stoop straight to hell," or basically. So he's basically rock bottom. He doesn't care. He's just going to do whatever he can to kill Homelander. So they do kind of hint at that throughout the season before he, you know, becomes just a complete piece of crap and disowns Ryan and almost screws Huey over. But it was an interesting arc with him. But I agree, the Temp V thing kind of took a lot of creativity out of the writing of the show, because season 1 and 2, it was just super interesting to see how they were going to manage to fight Soups without powers. But I loved seeing Butcher blasting stuff with his orange laser beams. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy that and loved seeing him go to town on people. So,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but I agree. It does kind of take a little bit away from the movie or from the show.
And when he takes it for the first time, and he like every time he opens his eyes, he's shooting laser beams out, and he's like screaming, yelling.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Yeah, and that we'll get to that in a bit here, but. So yeah, so Butcher decides to take the Temp V. Later down the road, he shows it to Huey, and Huey ends up taking it without Butcher's knowledge. And these two things lead to MM leaves them, essentially, because he's sick of it. They cross the line by becoming Soups. They're totally abandoning everything they stood for. So that's the last straw for the 15th time for Mother's Milk. He's out of here. So we go down to A-Train's storyline throughout. This is just incredibly awkward, just so hard to watch. Every aspect of A-Train in the season was so incredibly awkward. He tries to get his popularity up. You know, he's really down at the bottom, so he changes his uniform into an African-themed outfit. Everybody thinks he's a joke because you can just see through what he's doing. He tries to get a game off the ground called the Middle Passage, which would involve the slave trade, which what the hell are you doing? Like, yikes. What are we doing? Which is how everybody responded in the show. And then he really goes all out where he basically redoes the Kendall Jenner Pepsi commercial with the riots, except it's his own energy drink. Just really, really good stuff all around for A-Train. It's just a brutal arc for him in this season. Another thing they touched on with the social culture stuff there, they did the Pepsi commercial, but they also touched on the Imagine video that all those clueless celebrities dropped during the peak of COVID, you know, singing about a song that says, "Imagine there's no heaven while all your family members are dying," or whatever the case is. So they did a little spoof on that. All right, we're moving through. There's a reality show called American Hero. It's basically American Idol, because the 7 are down to 5, so they're trying to get people to fill it in. It's a stupid TV show. One of Starlight's ex-boyfriends come in. His name is Supersonic. Used to be in a boy band, and he starts to join the 7. He gets accepted, along with the Deep being brought back into the 7. After Maeve gives the Temp V to the boys, she also tells them about a possible secret weapon that has the chance of killing Homelander. She says it's rumored that it's what's killed Soldier Boy. They said Soldier Boy died in a nuclear reactor collapse that he was under. It's not the case. They find files that he was actually killed by a possible weapon that depowers Soups or kills them completely. This leads them to go into Russia. They find Soldier Boy getting the Winter Soldier treatment, and he escapes during this. And we now have a Soldier Boy who's been on ice for 40 years, escaped, heading his way back to America. So we kind of get little parallels with Captain America's first introduction to New York, except that was kind of more family-friendly. Soldier Boy comes back, and he hasn't been around since the 80s. He sees a gay couple kiss and almost throws up, it looks like, and he's just absolutely disgusted by everything he's seeing. And then he hears some Russian music playing, which triggers some PTSD, and he detonates. So Soldier Boy himself has that weapon that everybody thought killed him. Well, let's talk about the chest power that Soldier Boy now has. I don't understand how it works. Because he detonated in downtown New York. He vaporized everybody around him. He detonated his chest and drilled Kamiko. It took away her powers, but she lived. He detonated fully on Maeve at the end of the season. She lost her powers, but she lived. He detonates at Herogasm, and everybody around him gets vaporized, including the TNT twins. So I guess maybe it has to do with the character's own durability, but I don't exactly know how the chest blast works. Did either of you have an issue with following along how that worked really?
Yeah, that was weird. I think one of the only ways you could explain it is, like you said, the people at Herogasm seem to be pretty maybe C-list heroes with, very low durability. So maybe they died because of that. And obviously all the regular citizens died because they don't have powers. Kamiko seems to be like a solid B plus, right? Kind of hero, maybe A minus. I mean, she has
Yeah.
a really strong
B.
healing factor. At least she's kind of like
Yeah, that's a B plus. I mean,
yeah, she's like kind of a Wolverine situation, right?
gets her neck snapped and she can survive, so that's pretty
True. Yeah.
intense.
So yeah, I guess you could explain it with
But
durability.
Soldier Boy owned her in the finale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shoot. Well, yeah,
He just picked her up and threw her
just
across the head,
tossed her,
and that was it. So she can't be a B plus if he did that to her.
Yeah.
Well, as
but
far
she
as
also-
durability goes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, because they
But
could
power-
snap her neck, but she healed. But
Yeah.
you're still able to snap it. Yeah, I guess low Bs.
she really
Yeah.
only fights humans. She doesn't fight a lot of
true.
soups.
She
True.
whooped Stormfront's ass for a bit in season 2.
Oh yeah, that's
but
right,
she
that's
also
right.
got wrecked. So yeah.
I'd
And
say
that
she's like a B
low
minus.
Yeah, we'll go with a B minus celebrity for you, Kamiko.
And the one time she
Superhero.
broke A-Train's leg when Huey was pulling that trick.
That
I mean,
was
but
dope.
that's just
Yeah,
more of a
but
sneak attack.
she caught him off guard, and hit him with a pipe. So
Yeah.
that's super strength. But
For sure.
yeah, so I guess that makes sense for the whole chest explosion stuff. We also get a flashback of Mallory Grace Mallory. I don't know which is her first name, but when she's a CIA operative in Nicaragua in the 80s, and she has to deal with the team. So it's Soldier Boy's team. They're called Payback. They're kind of supposed to be a take on the Avengers, just how the Seven are a take on Justice League. Obviously, Avenge, Payback. You got Soldier Boy, Captain America. You got Crimson Countess. Yeah, Crimson Countess, who's kind of like a Wanda. Gunpowder.
Oh yeah,
Bucky. There's a lot of parallels to the Avengers in there. So anyway, they're in Nicaragua in the 80s. They're absolute clowns. Mallory doesn't want them anywhere near her operation, and they end up, getting all of her people killed just like they thought. But we find out that Black Noir was actually on Payback's team back then. So Black Noir has been around for a while. We see a little scene of him saying he doesn't want to wear his mask anymore right before his face gets completely destroyed, and we see how that happens later with Soldier Boy. But yeah, so we meet the Payback team, and once Soldier Boy gets back to the country, he wants to track them all down and kill them because he knows they gave him up to the Russians. They knocked him out, gave him away to the Russians because they were sick of him, and because Vought had Homelander as a baby. They said, we got a more powerful superhero, get rid of him. Also find out that super baby is Soldier Boy's son. They used his genes. Soldier Boy remembers the magazine. He beat it to and everything. And, we find out that is indeed his son. So Homelander does have a father figure, which means a lot to him down the road. We'll get back to that later. Do you guys have anything to say about the Payback crew or anything, that Nicaragua flashback scene?
No, to be honest, until Soldier Boy actually was in modern day, I wasn't super interested in all that. But it makes sense. It was developed. It was developed well. So once Soldier Boy actually came into the modern day, I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, actually, I think I would like this season if I watched it fully a second time through.
Okay. Love, anything?
Yeah, I wasn't too interested in Payback. A couple of them had. I liked the Mind Storm. He had a cool move. Endless sleep and you just starve to death.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, just puts you in a coma. Like, that was intense. So yeah,
but other than that, they weren't too interesting, and I just knew that they were all going to get picked off one by one. The Dynamite twins were also funny.
Yeah, the TNT twins.
Oh,
I know. I keep calling
twins.
them Dynamite twins too. I know. Herogasm happens after they find No.
Episode
Mindstorm
6
happens after Herogasm. Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much the summary of the first 5 episodes. Like I said, we'll dive deeper into these last 3 here, but so far it was a pretty good season coming up to. I liked Soldier Boy. I really thought Jensen Ackles did a really good job, and I liked all the time he was on screen. He's an asshole, but he's easy to watch. So
no, I loved Soldier Boy. He was the best part of the season.
Yeah, he was really way better than I thought he was going to be coming into the season. I didn't know what to expect, but I thoroughly enjoyed him.
Yeah, with a name like Soldier Boy, you're like, what are we getting into here?
Right. Yeah, it seems a little goofy. But yeah, so episode 6 is titled Herogasm. Apparently there's a backstory to Herogasm in the graphic novels. I had no interest in this. We've already seen really gross stuff from the boys without a superhero orgy. Like, incredibly over the top. I'm not going to describe it in detail, but the first episode of this season was one of the grossest things I've ever seen in my entire life, and I was actually a little angry while watching it. Like, a little angry. Like, okay, we're 10 minutes into this season, and this is what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
Like, disgusting. But anyway, so we go to Herogasm, which is B list superhero orgy that apparently Soldier Boy started back in the 60s or something, which is hilarious. But anyway, so the episode, it kicks off. We get a mirror scene with Homelander. Homelander's just losing it this season. You know, he's just absolutely mentally on the edge. He had a line earlier I'm going to touch on real quick, where Maeve was like, I'm going to release this footage. Like, I'm going to release it. And he's like, you know what? Basically, he was just sick of being blackmailed. He's like, you know what? Do it. I want to be loved, but if I can't be loved, that's totally fine by me. How about I start with the White House and all of the infrastructure of the nation, and then I'll go here. Basically, just starts listing off things he could easily do that would absolutely destabilize the world, and he would be the biggest villain in the world, but he would control it. He's basically like, yeah, I want to be loved, but if you won't let me have it that way, then I'll have it the other way. And that kind of scares the crap out of her and ruins their blackmail situation. So Homelander is losing it. So he has a mirror scene where he sees himself in it. Very, very much parallels the Green Goblin scene in the first Spider-Man, where Willem Dafoe is looking in the mirror, talking to the mirror as Norman Osborn, and the mirror's reflection is basically the Goblin speaking back. This is Homelander. Same thing. He's talking to Homelander in the mirror, and the mirror Homelander is basically just ripping him about how he's pathetic and he just wants to be loved, and he's letting that affect everything, and we're going to take care of this. You know, don't worry. This isn't going to be a problem anymore. What did you guys think of that scene?
Yeah, no, totally reminded me of Green Goblin. And I also just wanted to touch up on what you said about what he said to Maeve with going and taking over the White House. That also brings me back to Injustice, when Superman lost his mind after the death of Lois. And just like Homelander, he's an unstoppable power, so he could do anything he wants, which is what Superman did in the comics, and he became pretty much a dictator over the planet.
Yep. Love, what'd you think of that mirror scene?
Just the acting was off the charts. Right. He is Anthony Starr.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just an amazing actor. Every scene, you know, he's either terrifying, his eyes are watering while he's, you know, doing something crazy, and then he gets that evil smile.
Yeah.
It was
He portrays lunacy like so well. Dude. Like the tiny little, like, even his mouth, like the quivering of his lips and stuff, and certain like when he blows a dude's head off and then realize everybody's cheering, like the little reaction he has, just even the tiny little facial expressions, dude, is just, it's so good. And it's one of the most intimidating, scary villains of any property. And Anthony Starr just absolutely kills it.
Totally.
You want his character to die, but the show would not be the same without him. So
no, it really wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still watch, but there's no denying Homelander is like the heart of this show. I mean, it's just he's such a good character. Yeah, so that starts off the episode. Good start to the episode. We go to Soldier Boy. He's in the hotel, and Huey brings him this food. He goes, "Where's the sweet and sour Oriental yum yum," or something? He says something that is not politically correct. And he was like, "They don't sell those." Like, why not? Like, for a whole multitude of good reasons. And then he's watching an ad, and it shows a dad wearing a baby Bjorn, basically. And again, he's just disgusted. He's like, "Do men actually walk around like that?" He's like, "Yeah, I mean, dads do." He's like, "Dads? No. Bill Cosby is America's dad. Bill Cosby wouldn't be caught dead wearing one of those." And he was like, "Oh my God." He's like, "Man, used to hang with the Cos. Guy made one hell of a drink."
Oh my God.
There's a lot to unpack there. I thought that was hilarious. That played so well. Like, so we get further down into it. They go to hunt down Mindstorm. That's the last thing they're going to do before Soldier Boy agrees to kill Homelander for Butcher, which I don't know if I touched on that, but their whole deal is Butcher will help Soldier Boy find all of his ex-teammates, and Soldier Boy will kill Homelander for Butcher. They're going to Herogasm. They're trying to find the TNT twins. And so they go to Herogasm, and MM cuts him off at one point in the house once they're going through there, and he tries to fight him, which, you know, horrible strategy. But he says, "You killed my family." And Soldier Boy looks at him and says, "Which one?" Did either of you know what he meant by that?
No, I didn't even notice that.
Like, which time? I'm guessing. Like, he's probably killed a lot of people, and he doesn't remember who's who.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I was like, did he? I didn't know what if he meant by like the boys, but I don't know. That wouldn't make sense. So
Because he did the thing in Times Square, and I'm
Yeah.
guessing the similar thing happened. Same thing happened that killed MM's family.
but he didn't have the chest thing when he killed MM's family, right? I thought he threw a car through a window and killed. Or you just mean in general? Just he threw a car through a building and killed MM's family. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I didn't really understand that, but so everybody runs into each other during the Hero Gasm house. Soldier Boy just straight up blasts the TNT twins. They try to blast him and their powers don't work anymore and they're just disgusting people. So Soldier Boy blasts them, good riddance. Blows up half the house after Huey got Starlight out of there, and this is when Homelander arrives. So Homelander arrives to the house, slowly walks into the living room, says, William. Every time he calls Butcher that. I don't know why, I just like when he calls him William. They're standing there, and he finally realizes that Butcher is behind Soldier Boy, basically. And he goes, we had a deal. We were going to fight to the death. And he goes, you broke the deal or something, and blasts Butcher with his eye lasers, thinking that killed him. And then Butcher gets up and drills him with his own eye lasers, sends Homelander flying, and you can actually see like fear in his eyes. And he's like, what the hell? It's like, what? He looks up at him. He goes, what the hell did you do, William? And then that kicks straight into the Soldier Boy fight. So we basically get a Captain America versus Superman fight, which is pretty freaking cool in my opinion. I really enjoyed the fight. I thought it was just really, really creative. I love the fight choreography that goes with the boys. The punches just have so much power. What did you guys think about the fight? JD, what did you think about the Homelander versus Soldier Boy fight?
Yeah, dude, just like any other fight in this series, it's just visceral and intense, and every punch packs so much power behind it. And it was really, really cool seeing Soldier Boy in action with our biggest antagonist. That was one of the highlights of the season.
Totally.
I think I like this fight better than the finale fight.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Because we didn't get the Soldier Boy versus Homelander face off in the finale, really.
That's true. We didn't at all. Except for one laser blast. That was it.
Right. And just how like they were so close to getting Homelander, and then he just blast off right through the roof to get away. It was good. It was thrilling.
Really good, yeah. I didn't think Homelander was gonna get blasted there, but it still had me like, oh my god, get him,
Yeah.
So it was pretty intense. I love Homelander comes in and tries to start acting tough when they first walk in. Soldier Boy looks at me and goes, buddy, you think you look tough? You're wearing a cape. And then later in that fight, Homelander tries to fly up in the air and shoot Butcher, and Soldier Boy grabs him by that cape and just straight slams him to the ground with it, which Edna from The Incredibles would be very proud because, no capes.
And during that fight, A-Train also drags that guy miles away, like in one of the most savage speedster kills you can possibly have.
Yes, okay, I totally forgot about the A-Train stuff in this. That was brutal. He basically did it knowing he might die. Like he knew his heart was going to explode, and he still did it. So it was almost like his last plea to make things right for his brother before he kind of died. It felt like.
Yeah, because that guy was a jackass and he deserved it.
Dude, totally. Blue Hawk's a piece of shit, dude. I was so happy to see that happen.
Right. And speedsters are weird because movies, it's so hard to do it justice to that set of powers. It's almost impossible. So it was cool just to see that kind of an ass whooping from a speedster.
Yeah, because there's a lot of points throughout The Boys where A-Train's scenes are just kind of goofy almost. One of the really good speedsters was Makari from Eternals. Was it Makari?
Yes.
They killed the speedster role in
Totally.
Eternals. Wasn't a huge fan of the movie, but yeah, the speedster, they nailed it.
Her scenes were awesome.
Yeah. The Flash in Justice League, his like slow motion form thing doesn't really do it for me. It feels super awkward. I don't know. It doesn't really. Flash had some cool scenes in the Snyder cut, but
Yeah, for sure, especially the ending. But the thing is with speedsters, it's like they should never be like hit in the face, or they should like their opponent should never hit them with anything. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
It shouldn't happen ever.
Yeah, if Muhammad Ali can head duck and dodge majority of punches, then a speedster should probably never be able to get hit ever.
Totally.
And Huey rocked him.
That's correct.
He gave a heartfelt apology. Like you actually saw, I almost kind of felt a little for A-Train, because he was like, I'm sorry, man. Seeing somebody you love get hurt like that, like, I'm sorry, I didn't, like, crying. And Huey just apparently it didn't work for him, or he was pissed that he actually apologized and ruined the moment for him, and he just rocks him. And A-Train's like, how the hell did you do that? Like,
yeah. That's another great thing about this show, though, just the writing. You can turn A-Train from this super hateable, awkward character doing all this dumb stuff, and then at the end of the season, you almost feel bad for him.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I totally did. They do a really good job with that with a lot of characters. Even Homelander at points. At points, you're like, oh, dang, you know. His scene with Ryan. Oh my gosh, we'll get to that. But I mean, I actually believed the sincerity with him. And Ashley, just a terrible person throughout this whole series. And you actually, I kind of felt for her in some instances this season, a tiny bit.
Fuck Ashley.
Not felt for her, but I guess saw humanity in her. Like when she saw Maeve, and she mouthed the "I'm sorry," and then they saw the video recording and she deleted it. So felt sorry is the wrong term for Ashley, but actually saw her show some humanity for once.
Well, dude, if she's a normal human, she has the pressure of a corporate structure on her. It's like that's just going to change anybody. Like she probably was a good person before Vought.
Well, with Homelander now as her boss, ready to laser her face at any given second, bro. Like, I can't even imagine.
The pressure's insane.
Yeah, but it does get to the point with anything, whether you're talking about the Nazis or whatever the case is. To an extent, she's doing it because Homelander's going to kill her or whatever. She's doing it to protect herself, yada yada. But it gets to a point where, like, okay, how many people are you going to get killed and absolutely ruin their lives just to save your own? Like after a while, you should probably take a stand, like, and stop being a little bitch.
Because there's some characters that have that same pressure on them, but they have the balls to step up and do what's right eventually.
Right. So that was the end of Herogasm. All in all, is a pretty good episode.
One more thing. The Victoria Annie scene at the end.
Oh,
Victoria Starlight.
Yeah.
When she tries to get Starlight to come over to their side and she says no, and then Starlight just gets that little nosebleed as she walks off, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. She says, like, I was afraid Huey, was afraid I was gonna pop his head or something. Tells Starlight that she knows they know now, and it's like, oh shit. And dude, she's one of the most intimidating characters too. Victoria, like
100%,
like creepy, man.
Dude, she's gonna be popping heads.
Yeah, man, that's a pretty good character actually. She had a whole interaction too with somebody that she grew up with at a place called Red River, which I'm assuming is where they experimented on kids with compound V of some sort. But that's when we really see her power. It's not just head popping, it's anything that gets in her vision. Like she's struggling, the guy's holding her face on the ground and she barely gets her head twisted, her eye barely opens, she pops his hand. It's like, oh god. But really, really interesting power
so
set
can
there.
I wonder if she can pop Homelander's head.
That's the question.
She could pop my head anytime.
Oh my god, that's painful hearing that and knowing the context. Oh, it sounds so painful. I know that's not what you meant. One thing I wanted to say, because again, there's another good episode. This is the thing about The Boys, man, that sets it apart from other shows. There aren't filler episodes. First off, there just are no filler episodes. There's something incredibly important happening in the plot in every episode. And the other thing is there aren't a lot of down episodes. I feel like every single episode, something major happens in it. Like there's something that's going to affect the whole run of everything. It just, not all shows are like that. Kenobi show definitely wasn't like that. All of the MCU Disney Plus shows have not been like that. There's been multiple episodes that haven't been entertaining to watch, and I can't think of a single episode in this season where I was like, yeah, I didn't like that episode.
Yeah, and for a show with such a large cast, every character's fleshed out. You know their motives. They have a backstory. You're either rooting for them, you're against them, or you're somewhere in the middle. But it's just like, no, there's not like any basic characters. Even Soldier Boy, he was in one season, and you already found out a lot about him.
Yeah, and you're stoked to see him next season. Like, I mean, it's just. And the showrunner, Eric Kripke, he even was quoted. He said, a lot of showrunners out there think they can do a 10-hour season and not have anything really major happen until the 8th hour. I'm trying to make a 10-hour movie. It's like, yeah, dude, well, you're doing a great job because it shows. Like, every single episode of this season was a good episode.
I will say I could do without the Deep at this point, where he was pretty funny.
Fair.
But he was pretty funny before when he just got super awkward and just really like kind of like a puppy dog, just wanted to please you. Yeah. But at this point, I could do without that character.
Dude, I don't need to see another octopus over another guy's crotch for the rest of my life. Like, that stuff is so disgusting. I don't.
Fish need love too.
Yeah. Oh, it's a mollusk. Yeah. In season 1, the Deep had, like you said, he had the scene where he's taking the dolphin out of SeaWorld. He slams on the brakes and it launches through, slides across the street, and then an 18-wheeler just runs it over, and he just drops his head depressed. And then he goes to the store and he buys a lobster. He's talking to it. He's like, oh, no, not that guy. That guy, that's my guy. He's like, okay. He pulls him out of the tank, sets him down, pulls a knife out. Deep's like, wait, no. Just stabs him straight in the head. Deep just drops his head again. Just like, can't do anything right, but funny scenes at least. But this whole season was gross.
Not only his comedy relief, but his very first thing in season 1 was like, it showed how someone with a lot of corporate power can manipulate someone like that. Like, and obviously that wasn't funny at all, but it was important to the theme of season 1.
Totally. I would go as far to say there were points where I felt bad for the Deep.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, not later. Yeah, the Ashley one I misspoke, but the Deep is another character where a couple scenes late in the series where it's like, dang, this guy is just like, all he wants is Homelander's approval, and he can't do. He's an idiot, first off. But yeah, you just get to a point where it's like, I kind of feel for him.
Yeah, but it's also hard after what he did season 1. I never actually felt for him to that level, but at the same time, like, eventually you're like, man, he's trying his best. Like, he's kind of trying to, he apologized. He's trying to repent. I don't know, but still.
Yeah, no, he's a scumbag for sure. So, but
yeah.
So we hop into episode 7 there. So Frenchie and Kimiko have this scene. It's after Kimiko's healing, but she wants to get Compound V back because she experienced a situation where she wasn't able to protect Frenchie the way she wanted to when she wasn't powered up in the whole scene with little Nina. And so she wants to take Compound V. She gets it from Annie. She writes this whole thing out to Frenchie. But they have this talk where basically they're talking about the kiss they shared. And she says it was weird, not because she didn't enjoy it, but because they were more than friends. And I saw some people being like, oh, Frenchie got friend zoned and stuff. And I didn't think it was that. I just think, they've been through so much shit over the last 3 years that they've been together. And Frenchie's been the only one who's always had her back and stuff. But it was a really emotional scene. And it's done without Kimiko being able to speak. Like, it's just such a well done scene to where you can actually get that seriousness and that emotion across where one of your characters can't speak. And I just think Karen Fukuhara plays her, and I think she's been incredible. Like, all the emotion and everything she's conveyed and the deepness of her character without being able to say a word has been pretty well done.
I totally agree, dude. I love Kimiko.
Really good character, yeah.
Her and Frenchie are one of the few redeemable characters left.
Totally. Oh, I know. And they keep saying, we got to get to where are they going? Marcy?
Monco?
Moncourt? That's what she called. I forget where they said they're going to go. Somewhere in France, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And you just know that's not going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
I wish they do, but one of them ain't making it. There's too much groundwork laid down for their future, their happy future, for both of them to make it out alive here. So I think we're going to lose Frenchie next season. Okay, so Annie's going through the laboratory and finds all these sheets regarding Temp V studies. So on the paperwork, it says all the patients, they either died or they were in a vegetable state. Every single one of them. There's a bunch of notes. It says it causes malignant tumors. Shows increase the user's strength upon every dose. So that was kind of something leading to maybe Butcher's last dose. He's going to be an absolute savage. I thought maybe he was going to fly with his last dose that he took, because, there was a note that said it increases every time you take it. But the most important thing is it's fatal after 3 to 5 doses. So Annie tells Butcher that and says, you have to tell Huey, and Butcher doesn't. Butcher holds it back, even though he sees him as Lenny, his little brother, walking by, who he had the whole flashback scene, and he just let Huey take it initially, at least in that episode. He just totally lied to him, didn't tell him that he was going to die by his next dose. It was like, okay, this is the point where I get off the Butcher train. Like, come on, man.
Didn't he punch Huey in the bathroom before he took it again, or was that after?
Well, that was the next episode, but the end of episode 7, Starlight tells him that. And he was like, what's up? He's like, we got to swing by the lab and get more Temp V, and we're going to finish this. It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell him. But
so
yeah,
it seemed shitty, but he didn't take it before getting punched in the bathroom, right?
No, they were about to take it, and then Butcher knocked him out in the bathroom before he took it, so he couldn't. He had a change of heart. But
initially, yeah, what a dick.
Yeah. So the Butcher flashback scene, let's touch on that real quick. Caleb, you got anything for that one?
I did notice a parallel with Butcher to Ryan earlier in the season, and how he spoke to Lenny when he was leaving in the flashback. Just the way how he just has to say the most messed up, where it's going to hurt him the most, just to make sure that they don't follow him. And I guess it's just the only way he knows how to leave someone is by just ruining the relationship in the worst way.
Yeah, terrible way to handle that, but yeah. Yeah.
Right before when the last part of the flashback, Lenny starts talking to adult Butcher, and he's like, you left me here, and then he says, the last person on God's green earth trying to stop you from being a monster, and what do? Yeah, it's just like, oh my God. Yep. So it was really hard to root for Butcher, and then he did redeem himself in the finale, so
yeah,
he's not.
But after that flashback, we see all that, and then he doesn't tell Huey, and so at that point, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, dude. JD, did you have anything on those flashback scenes? Those brutal mind
Not
comas?
A ton. It didn't really sit with me a ton. It was just a little more character development. So yeah,
I thought his little brother's accent was horrible. I don't know if that was an American kid trying to do the accent or what, but it sounded just horrible. So regarding the whole Ryan scene, so Butcher, Freudian slip there. Butcher decides to just cut things off with Ryan completely because apparently he feels like it'll keep him safe or whatever. The same thing with Lenny when he leaves, and does the old Yeller thing where you throw a rock at the dog to get it to leave. I don't know if that's old Yeller. That might be a different story. But abuse the thing so that it'll make separating easier kind of thing. But the way he does it with Ryan, dude, he drops the line, maybe I just don't want to look at the face of the person who killed my Becca. You ever think of that?
That's a little far.
Oh my God, dude. He's 12 and he killed his mom accidentally. And you just dropped that line, which was just he gets pissed. Ryan's eyes light up like he's about to kill Butcher. And then he says he hates him, never want to see him again. But it comes around full circle at the start of episode 8, where after Homelander finds out that Soldier Boy is his father, he goes and finds Ryan because he's killing Councilwoman Newman, and she hands him a piece of paper and it's an address to find Ryan. So he goes and finds Ryan, and he's kind of caught off guard. And the entire time he's speaking to him, this is the scene I was talking about, it actually felt genuine. Homelander actually felt genuine when he was talking to him, actually sincere, he actually all of a sudden cared about his son truly. And Ryan all of a sudden goes, "You're not mad at me?" And And the way that the acting, again, Anthony Starr's acting, he goes, you know, that wasn't your fault, right? Like actually surprised that Ryan feels that way. And he goes over and consoles him. And so when you realize the way that Butcher ended that relationship was blaming him for Becca's death, and then Homelander comes in and he's the one who says, hey, dude, that wasn't your fault. Like, that's just a whole nother level to Ryan accepting Homelander and embracing him. Because, dude, the kid just wants a parental figure, and he feels like he killed his mom. Butcher makes him feel even worse about it. Here comes Homelander, you know, actually stepping up, making him feel good, talking to him like an adult, like an actual human being. And it's scary because you're like, oh, man, he's going to win this kid over. He's about to have Ryan on his side, like, which is a very scary combination. But I thought that scene was really well acted by Anthony Starr.
Yeah. With that scene, talking to Ryan, and in the previous in this episode when Maeve is trying to blackmail him, it just really shows how Homelander is a master manipulator. He knows exactly what to do, exactly what to say to get his way.
Yeah, he's gotten really good at this game.
Yeah, dude, Anthony Starr is a beast of an actor. It's insane. I swear, I think he's like in the top 5 villains ever in the talks with your Vader, your Thanos, your Joker, and then here's your Homelander, and then another person to round out the 5th. But he's incredible.
I agree. I'd have him top 5 for sure.
Yeah, just like you said, the way his freaking mouth quivers when he's surprised, or just it's like he's freaking tweaking out when he's starting to go a little crazy. And he's an awful person, but at some weird points, you feel for him. And it's like you shouldn't, but you do. And he's such a complex character. Another psychopathic character that thinks he's just doing the right thing, but what he's doing is insane.
Right.
And he just plays it perfectly.
Yeah, like it's so believable. And that's what makes it like so scary. It's like, oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, terrifying.
Another crazy Homelander scene is they have Maeve locked up. She gets kidnapped by Black Noir. And Homelander's got her in the cell, and he goes, oh, I'm keeping you alive, but I'm keeping you alive to harvest your eggs, is essentially what he says. It wasn't word for word, but essentially says, yeah, I'm keeping you alive because could you imagine our children? Like, they'd be even stronger than Ryan. Like, they would be absolute, they'd rule the world. And
yeah,
so
he
Homelander's,
He goes, of course I would not force myself on you. We're not savages, but I am going to harvest your eggs.
Yeah. God, dude, just total psychopath.
Yeah.
I'd say sociopath, but I feel like he actually does feel. He just doesn't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just really liked how Maeve didn't really stand down in that scene.
Yeah.
Where, she's like, is that concealer on your face?
Yeah.
And then at the end, this is still a top 3 day in my life because this is the day I saw you scared.
Dude, I love Maeve. She's such a cool character.
Totally
like
agree.
she's just done enough where she's fed up with it, so she has that attitude like she doesn't really give a shit, and she at first it seems like she might be kind of brainwashed by that corporate structure, but then you realize that she's not. She's just so fed up that she doesn't really care enough to fight it. She kind of plays her role, but she is a good person trying to do the right thing, like at the end of the day.
Right.
I kind of wish she was Wonder Woman. Like, I like Gal Gadot, but she would be an amazing Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she basically was a R-rated Wonder Woman, I guess. Yeah. So we had an animated, couple animated scenes in this season, and it was dealing with Black Noir's explanation, his background with Soldier Boy. We find out that Black Noir was apparently trying to be the next Beverly Hills Cop before Eddie Murphy got the role, and Soldier Boy sabotaged him and talked bad about him, and basically was pissed that Black Noir was trying to climb up the ranks. Said stay in your lane, basically, and just absolutely beats the crap out of him. But it's this animated session to where Black Noir goes to this pizza thing. Oh, we totally forgot to touch on this. Okay, real quick. When Soldier Boy is discovered to be back and alive, Homelander is freaked out. Like, he's like, this is unfair. This is not happening. Like, okay, I'm going to kill him. We're going to bury this. Black Noir's got my back. Homelander has multiple lines where he's like, Black Noir is my best friend. He would never betray me. Well, I always trust in Black Noir. There's like this weird kind of relationship between those two. And they do kind of hint at it season 1 too. Homelander rips everybody at the table of the 7, and then he goes, "Not you though, Black Noir. Great as always," and then keeps ripping everybody else. So there's some weird relationship there. But so after Homelander tells Black Noir, he's like, "I'm really glad you're here with me on this, man. I really need you here. Like, I'm really, really glad I got you having my back." Black Noir walks straight to the elevator, standing right next to this lady, pulls a knife out, stabs himself in the freaking forearm, cuts out his tracker as this lady's just screaming in the elevator, hands the tracker to the lady, and then just takes off out of the elevator. Like, hilarious scene. So he ends up going to a pizza place where he might have grown up, kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese looking place. And all these cartoon characters on the walls come out, and he's seeing them as real characters. And they're like, "You got to face it, Irvin. You have to face your past with Soldier Boy." And so they essentially show him flashbacks that tells him what happened. The flashbacks worked for me. I enjoyed it. I thought it was creative. It's a little weird, but I enjoyed it. JD, I know at first you weren't too crazy about them.
Yeah, just on the surface, it seems silly. So when I first watched it, I did skip those scenes. I was like, all right, it seems a little weird. And then I talked to you guys about it. You said, yeah, it had important story points. So I went back and watched it. And, the story points were fine. I mean, they were good. They were good. But I'm just sitting there wondering, like, why didn't you just give us flashbacks? You've done flashbacks the whole series. Like, those would have been fantastic flashbacks. Why do they have to be a cartoon characters telling you what happened in your past, like from these memories that you've suppressed? So it was just a weird way of doing it, but it did add to the story.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a budget thing or what, but Caleb, what'd you feel about it?
I think it was just them trying to show how Black Noir can't really process things like an adult. He still has the mind of a child. After what Soldier Boy did to him, he lost half his brain. So
yeah,
they had one of the cartoon characters had the classic line at the end. I think Ned Stark once said it to Bran. Bravery is having fear.
Yep. It's okay that you're afraid. Bravery is facing it, doing that thing when you are afraid. Yeah. Yeah. Ned Stark's line was definitely better. Basically said,
to be brave, you have to be fear. You have to have fear or something.
A fearless man can't be brave.
Yeah.
Being brave is having fear, and still, yeah, he phrased it better.
Or Ben Affleck saying it to Superman. He's like, "You're not brave. Men are brave."
Men are brave.
not as good as probably the worst
You're
of all
not
three,
even
but
a man. I don't know. I like that scene.
it was still fine.
But yeah, so we find out that they start to fight in Nicaragua again. So Edgar gives Black Noir the go-ahead to take out Soldier Boy, give him to the Russians. Soldier Boy just beats the living hell out of him, slams his face onto a lit fire on top of a car hood and melts half of his face, and then just starts beating the back of his head with his shield. And a piece of Black Noir's brain in the animated, aspect of it plops out. And he's kind of reaching for the brain. And while that happens, Black Noir in real life kind of slowly, unconsciously touches that part of his head. And now it all makes sense. It makes sense why Black Noir can't speak. It makes sense why every time he does speak, he draws giant, like, children's letters in crayon and only uses, like, 2 words at a time. Yeah, it's because dude is missing, at least a fourth of his brain just plopped out of his head. Yeah. So that was super interesting.
It totally does make you feel for the character. Like he was such a strange character, and now we're at the point where we totally feel for the guy. Like, it was really sad to see him die.
Yeah, so we'll cut to that real quick. So he finally comes back. The cartoon characters convince him, you have to go face Soldier Boy. So he gets his bravery up, and he goes back to Vought Tower with a sign saying, "Soldier Boy will come, must kill." Homelander sees him, kicks Deep and A-Train out of the room, and they have a talk, and basically Homelander's like, "Found out he's my dad, this is crazy." And Black Noir's like, "Must kill him." It's like, "I don't think I want to anymore." And then we eventually get to the point where Homelander goes, "Did you know this whole time that he was my dad and he was out there somewhere?" And Black Noir, slowly nods his head. And then again, another instance of Anthony Starr's incredible facial acting while he's struggling in his head. You can tell he already made the decision that he's going to kill him, but he's got that weird bond with him, and you could tell he's just having this battle in his head about, I'm going to kill him, but this is going to suck. This is going to suck. And finally just closes his eyes, holds his breath in, and punches straight through Black Noir's torso, all the way through. No, not all the way through, halfway through it, because he's holding onto his freaking intestines, and then he rips his intestines out, and Black Noir just drops and is no more. So Black Noir out of the picture, dead. Bummer. And Homelander, after he kills him, you could tell he's still struggling with it. Like, they really, I don't know what it was, man, but Homelander really, really liked Black Noir until he put his hand through him.
CGI looked kind of fake on that on the
intestines. Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't look at it too much. Which is weird because that disgusting scene in the first episode where the guy gets ripped in half actually looked pretty realistic. It was disgusting.
Yeah, that's where the budget went to.
Yeah, they spent it all on that scene. Great. So glad we got that thing in 4K. All right, so let's just we'll just jump to the main part, the part we're all waiting on. We get the final battle. They show up at Vought Tower, so the guys they get a poison that can knock out Soldier Boy. They figure out what they have to do. So Butcher, Huey, and Maeve are getting ready to go attack. Butcher, Huey, and Maeve are getting ready to go attack Homelander, and then MM, Frenchie, and Starlight show up and are like, we need to stop Soldier Boy. Like, we have to stop this. We've got this poison. We're going to take him out. And when it all seems like they're about to lock Butcher and Huey up so they can go take out Soldier Boy, Maeve reaches in, grabs the poison, throws it out the window, and goes, no, Homelander's got to die. We're not doing this. So she turns on them. And they basically end up clashing in Vought Tower. What did you guys think of the overall fight scene? We get Butcher and Homelander against Soldier Boy for a second, but then we get Homelander against Maeve, and we get Soldier Boy against everybody else. Let's go to you, JD. What did you think about the final fight scene in Vought Tower?
Okay, dude, I was really frustrated when Butcher, I get it, he wants to protect Ryan, but my God, you had the chance to kill Homelander, and for 3 seasons straight, that was his only goal. And it reminded me of Star-Lord when that side of the Avengers had Thanos beaten, and they were going to tear his glove off, but instead Star-Lord starts beating him on the head, and then all of a sudden Thanos is back in control. It reminded me of that. Like, yes, I get it. He wanted to protect Ryan, but all Soldier Boy did was shoulder check him at that point. So I don't know where the deep emotional response came from. But then, I mean, I guess, but Starlight, I get it. He was going to blast him with his chest. Right. Homelander was right over him. But after that, Homelander was sitting there so distracted talking to Ryan. And you had the opportunity to just grab Homelander again, dude, and finish the job. Like, Homelander is so important to kill. He's on his way to becoming a dictator of the planet. And that was super frustrating. So, I mean, and that would have been, I just really wanted to see a second round of that fight that we got at Herogasm.
Same. I think we all did.
There's that. Yeah. Other than that, there was good things. It was cool seeing Starlight power up the way she did.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah. I'll touch on that later too, but.
Well, it was kind of fruitless. She powered up a ton and kind of knocked him down.
I just didn't. She did the same thing she does with all of her blasts. Well, but this time she learned to fly, but then she still did. It was the same effect that has happened on all of her powers before. He just fell over, and then got back up.
She knocked him down, and on top of that, she passed out. So it was fruitless, but
it was a cool build-up. I was getting hyped. I was like, "Oh, dude, she's about to blow him out the building," and then she just kind of pushed him over. I was like, and you're asleep.
For sure.
Okay, great.
And then you had MM coming in with the shotgun again, and that. There was too many things in this season where he was powerless, but yet they decided to write him into the scene like coming in like he's going to make a difference. Yeah. Even though he's not. Like, he was beating Butcher with a bat for a while. Obviously, it doesn't matter. He was going to shoot Soldier Boy or Homelander late, like in the season again. that obviously it's not going to do anything. And Starlight told him, no, just handle this another time or something, like he would have done anything anyway. And then a third time he comes in with a shotgun and Starlight stops him again. I'm like, there's too many times where MM was involved. And I'm just like, dude, you're not going to make a difference.
Right. Not to mention season 2 ended with him blasting Stormfront with a shotgun multiple times. It's like, dude, it's not doing anything.
Yeah. I get it. You want to help, but just take a seat.
Yeah. Caleb, what do you think about the final fight there?
I was a little underwhelmed overall by the finale, but I think that's just because my expectations were so high because the season was just so good up to that point. Mm-hmm. But the dialogue between Homelander and Soldier Boy before the fight starts, when Homelander gives his one last shot to try and get him on his side, he's like, I know what it's like for your team to betray you. And then Soldier Boy kind of, tricks him into it. And he goes, you know what? I wish I was there to raise you. Then you wouldn't have grown up to be some weak, sniveling pussy starved for attention.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a fucking disappointment. Which is the same thing his dad said to him. And I was thinking, can anyone in this show learn from their father and not repeat their mistakes? Like, good Lord, Butcher, Soldier Boy. Huey has the line where he, I always thought my dad was weak, but I just didn't really know what strength was.
Yeah. I love when you saw Butcher and Maeve realizing what's happening and they start to slowly smile in the background. They're like, oh, yes. Yes. Like, this is not a sentimental moment. Like, and they just absolutely wrecked him.
Totally.
Anyway, keep going.
Like I said before, I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get Soldier Boy versus Homelander, but I think my favorite part was Maeve versus Homelander and their little duel they had. Maeve actually, got his nose to bleed.
Dude, she kicked his ass.
She stabbed him in the ear at the end.
Oh yeah, I wonder if that
she was like, she was actually kicking his ass.
Dude,
Soldier Boy loves the John Walker shield move. The decapitation John Walker move with the shield.
Yeah, that was dope.
Oh, yeah.
My dislikes, I felt like there was a lot of cuts in the final fight. Like, it was just cut. Like, when there was the hand-to-hand combat. Did you guys see that at all?
Yeah, the second time around I did. The first time I didn't notice, but when you mentioned it and I watched again, I did notice there was a good amount of cuts, but I did also notice that when they did cut, you could still see what was happening. Like, it wasn't a close cut to where it was like I didn't even see the punch thrown, but they did cut a lot.
I really wonder if the stab in the ear is going to be kind of a permanent injury. I don't know how the ears work with the soups, but maybe he heals quick like a normal soup person, but it seemed pretty brutal. So
maybe it throws off his super hearing next season. That becomes kind of like a weakness he has. But dude, and she might have been able to win that fight. She stopped to save the Soldier Boy explosion, but Homelander was rocked. Yeah. And then he came up to her and she double punched him in the chest and knocked him down again. Like, she had the upper hand in the fight at that point. Yeah, I love it when she rocks him and she smiles first before it shows. Like, she saw it first, and then the camera shows him reaching up and seeing that he's bleeding out of his nose, and he's just pissed. And it just felt like she was loving every second of this. Like, she didn't care if she was going to die. She was loving every chance she got to hurt him in some way. And the fight choreography, man. So this is what stood out for me a lot. So first watch this final fight scene in the tower. I loved it. I did notice more issues with it the second time watching, but the first time I was watching, I enjoyed the whole thing. I even got past the disappointment of no Soldier Boy and Homelander. It didn't even really click until the scene ended. I was like, well, that kind of sucks. We didn't get that. But I was loving it. The choreography in this series, whoever's doing it, they do such a good job at showing the power in punches. Yes. Every time Soldier Boy is punching Butcher, like, oh my God, it feels brutal. It feels so powerful. And the Maeve and Homelander strikes, it was just, I don't know how to put it other than tangible. Like, you could just feel how powerful they really are. And it's just so well done, the punching, which sounds like a super simplistic thing. They really do punching good, but they do. Like, It was just really sucks you into it.
No, it's the best when they get that stuff right, though.
Yeah.
And when Starlight and Kamiko try to step to Soldier Boy, and he literally just throws them each to the side in 5 seconds.
Yeah,
So
just
they're good
them.
at power levels.
Yeah, no. So, and they mentioned multiple times, like, how would Soldier Boy have gotten killed from that? You know, he's as strong as, and then Butcher kind of stops, but he was thinking Homelander. So multiple times people drop a comment saying like Soldier Boy is as strong as Homelander, pretty much. Yeah, so that was really good. And then we also, before Kamiko joins the fight, Frenchie is in the lab cooking up a poison for Soldier Boy to knock him out. And all these guards come in, and Kamiko puts the headphones in, turns on "I'm a Maniac," and just starts going to, not "I'm a Maniac." She's a maniac. Isn't it? She's a maniac. Yeah.
She's a maniac.
He's a maniac. She's a maniac. Somebody's a maniac. But the needle drop is great. Yeah. It was really good. We just get, Kamiko tearing stuff up to that needle drop. So I like that. I like when they do a little needle drop to action scenes like that. It works really well. It worked really well in season 2, the ending, where they showed Marvel how to actually do an all-female fight at the end where it's actually good.
Yeah.
And the needle drop for that scene in season 2 is really good too. Just set the scene really well. So it's just really well put together. But yeah, I did miss out on the Captain America Superman rematch fight. That would have been really cool to get. But we did get Wonder Woman versus Superman, Yeah,
totally true. But yeah, we were all excited about Soldier Boy fighting Homelander again.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And maybe we still can get it, Yeah. He's alive, which I don't understand that one. Okay, so Soldier Boy blows up outside of the building. Maeve tackles him, and he explodes. How did they end up capturing him? Did he just go unconscious and somebody was down at the bottom and got him?
That's what I assumed.
Okay. Because I thought the building was like surrounded by police and SWAT and everybody else is up in the building. So how the hell did they get down to Soldier Boy and get him?
Yeah, you don't want to leave too much to assume for the audience, but I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
sure there were cops outside. They landed right outside.
That's what I mean,
in front
though.
of the cop cars.
Wouldn't they have gotten him and not Mallory and Butcher? Because Mallory's the one who has him.
They probably pulled some government FBI badge.
Yeah.
Swapped him, took him.
Yeah, something happened there. But yeah, so we got Soldier Boy. He'll be alive next season. Pretty excited to see what happens with that. Did you want to touch on anything else that happened in this episode before we cover it as a whole?
A couple things. Going back to when you brought up the lab scene, that reminded me of. It was a pretty good episode for Frenchie. Mm-hmm. We finally got to see his genius side again. I feel like it's been a while since he's done something really smart.
Yeah.
He got to make the plan for once. Since Butcher wasn't there to shut it down, he got to make the plan, and everyone looked around and was like, "Okay." And then he was like, "Wow!" Like I finally got to be in charge for once. He's asking for paid vacations and stuff now.
Yeah, I love that. And Huey's like, okay, we got it. He's like, and we need paid vacation and dental or something. He was like, okay, we got it. And then Frenchie looks at Kamiko, hella proud, just like, yeah, I stood up for myself. Asking Butcher for paid time off.
When Homelander is confronting A-Train, the Deep, and Ashley, he makes her remove the wig at the end.
Oh,
but then he goes, at the beginning, he's like, they told me I was going to get my very own team, the family I never had. Then I got you. And they're just all like, damn, bro.
Yeah, he goes, you're not my family.
And when he's talking to A-Train, he goes, how could you kill one of your own in cold blood? And A-Train looks over at Black Noir's mask.
Yes, dude.
And you're like, what? You're like, what the fuck?
Yes.
What?
That was good. And that scene also made me realize the 7 is now Homelander leading 2 other barely followers. Yeah. It's it's nothing anymore.
Yeah, it's the Deep and A-Train.
Yeah,
the last 3. Yeah, that's such a joke.
Yeah.
And Ryan,
Liberty's gone. Starlight, Maeve, Noir's dead. Luminescence dead. It's just them.
Supersonic. Yeah, make it very long.
So we go into the very end of the season here. We'll wrap up everything. Again, Maeve is alive. She is depowered and happy. She's with her girlfriend. What was her name? Do you remember? Alana?
I have no idea.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, she's with her girlfriend. She's depowered and happy. She seems happy. She's smiling. Her girlfriend seems happy. Mallory has Soldier Boy. He's knocked out. Ashley finds the video of Maeve surviving. She deletes it and wipes it from the hardware. So a little bit of one positive thing Ashley has done. But the biggest thing, well, not the biggest thing, a major plot point that will be leading in the next season. Homelander has the Deep kill the future VP. So the Deep's in his pool, the guy goes swimming, and the Deep drowns him. That leads to a new person running alongside Dakota Bob, which is Councilwoman Newman. So we got Victoria Newman, the head popper, who is about to be the vice president next year. Now, she's the daughter of Edgar, of whatever his first name, Edgar, the guy, Stan Edgar, who is running Vought. She's his adopted daughter. She had to basically turn on him to save herself and her daughter. So she threw her under the bus. He's out. He got kicked out of the company for fraud and a bunch of other stuff. Also, Victoria Newman shot her daughter up with Compound V at the beginning of the season. I totally forgot about that. So that's going to lead to something. So now we got superpowered Ryan and we got superpowered Congresswoman or VP Newman's daughter now, which, my goodness, that was a drastic move right there. I guess
the
that's
Young Avengers.
To protect her from, right? I guess that's to protect her from Homelander, but like she's still 12. Homelander could still kill her. Don't matter if you injected her with Compound V or not. If that's what you're worried about, like you just ruined your daughter's life. But okay. So she's ruthless, and she's now going to be the vice president of the United States. So that should be super interesting. Basically, Vought is in the White House now, because she was basically working alongside Vought, and then she's helping Homelander out, and Homelander got that position for her. So Vought's got the White House on lock. Mother's Milk has his daughter back, which, real quick, somebody said we were going to get an explanation as to why the hell his name is Mother's Milk this season, and we didn't get a damn thing explaining it. We got Homelander drinking cow's milk straight out of the udder, but we didn't get a damn thing explaining why Mother's Milk's name is Mother's Milk. So I would love to know that, because what the hell kind of name is that? I don't like calling him Mother's Milk. Like, I don't like it. Marvin, that's his name. Okay. Mallory always calls him Marvin. Yeah, or MM. MM's got his daughter back. They're happy. Eminem. Damn it, JD. He's got his daughter back. So we go to the last scene of this season, which was just bonkers. Another bonkers Homelander scene. So Homelander introduces Ryan to a ruckus crowd of storm chasers and Homelander supporters, and he lets Ryan come down from the sky, which obviously they've been spending some quality time together, because Ryan can fly now. Last we saw, Homelander shoved him off a roof. He hit the ground pretty hard. So they've been spending some time together, because Ryan can now comfortably fly. Ryan lands on the ground, and a Starlight supporter throws what looks to be a cup or something, or roll of toilet paper. I don't know what it was. But he drills Ryan, and the whole crowd freaks out, like, oh, what the hell? What's wrong with you? And Homelander looks up, and in the next second, shoots laser beams through this man's freaking skull, splits his head in half, blows his head up in public, cameras on, all these people around him. And for the split second, you see fear on his eyes, like, I messed up. And then we see the scumbag stepdad of Janine, MM's daughter, Marvin's daughter. I don't remember what his name was. He doesn't deserve a name. This guy sucks.
Like Todd or something?
It is Todd. Damn it, you gave him a name. Yep, Todd. So Todd, who's been a scumbag the whole season, he brought...
That was a great KO.
Yes, brought MM's daughter to a Homelander rally. MM shows up. He says somebody's got to be a father to her, and MM just knocks him out cold, which was just so enjoyable
Love
to watch. Love it. Yeah. Love to see it. And so he's this very same scumbag Todd is at this rally. Homelander blows a guy's head off. Everybody's dead silent. And Todd, of all people, goes, "Whoo!"
Yeah.
yeah, starts cheering, and the whole crowd erupts into cheer, and it goes back to Homelander's face, and he doesn't know what the hell is happening. He's like, "What?"
I just got away with that.
Yeah, yet another example of Anthony Starr's facial acting,
which is now a meme.
This, yeah, yeah, hell funny meme. That and the cow one right before he milks the cow. A lot of good memes coming out of Anthony Starr's acting. But yeah, he realizes that all of a sudden he can blow people's head off in public and it won't matter. And the worst part of it all is the camera drops down to Ryan, who looks a little freaked out at first, and then he slowly starts to smile after witnessing his father murder a man in cold blood for throwing a roll of paper towels at him. What did you guys think about that final scene? I'll go with you to start this time, JD.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it was pretty scary to see that the public would support that level of violence when you thought that something like that would turn the public against Homelander.
Yeah.
And especially from that stepdad, I kind of thought he was I didn't know what he was going to do, but as soon as he started cheering, that just cemented the fact that he's a douchebag. But
yeah,
it was pretty scary. The fact that Homelander now has the full public support about him being that violent. Not only that, but his son, who has his powers, like enjoyed it. So he's super encouraged to follow in his dad's footsteps. So it seems like a pretty scary duo looking forward.
Maybe Soldier Boy was right. Should have just let Ryan die.
Yep. 100% should have. Butcher messed up everything.
Yeah, it's just I wonder. It's really interesting how his character is going to turn out by the end of the show. Because it's I feel like it's too simple for him to just stick with Homelander for the rest of the time. Something's going to happen where, there's still some good in him, and he realizes that he can't be with Homelander. I'm hoping for Butcher and Becca's sake.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's just tough. Again, Homelander was the only one there for him during that crucial, traumatic time in his life, and that's going to form a pretty quick bond. Yeah, so when Todd saw that, I was like, oh, finally, he's going to realize, oh, damn, Marvin was right. Like, this guy is in trouble. Mm-hmm. And nope, he starts cheering. Just like, dude, you are just the worst type of Todd.
Why is
horrible?
Why is MM's ex-wife with him?
Seriously,
no, I don't know. It feels like it's to get back at MM at this point.
Maybe it's the complete opposite.
Yeah,
of him.
She went opposites. Yeah. So I want to talk about real quick. Well, let's talk about our final thoughts of the season. Caleb, what was your overall impression of the season? And let's get a rating. Overall impression and a rating.
A rating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put Stranger Things at 9.2. So I need to keep my
Hey, we got to start marking stuff down. Yeah, I don't remember what I put Stranger Things.
So I have to give this a 9.3. Okay. It just barely gets the edge over Stranger Things.
Okay.
I mean, the season as a whole, I loved. I was slightly disappointed with the finale, but they were just setting up things for the next season.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched this every Friday night, never missed it, didn't wait till the next day.
Yeah.
They gave everyone a special moment and they grew as characters. This is one of the best things about this show. And even when they introduce a new person, you really get to know them, and then they probably die at the end of the season.
Well, it's not Stranger Things. Soldier Boy's still alive.
That's true. And fuck Stormfront, so.
Yeah, yes. But she survived too, technically, apparently, for some unknown reason.
And once again, just Homelander makes this show, the acting, all of it. Yes. Like, I hate him, but he needs to be in this show until the last episode.
Totally. It's different. I hate him, but I need him, and he's my favorite part of the show. Whereas Joffrey, I hated Joffrey, and it is the happiest I've ever been at watching somebody die on a TV show.
Yes.
And I was totally fine with it. It wasn't like, shoot, well, now we don't have Joffrey anymore. It was like, no, I hate him, which he's a good actor. The kid is a good actor because I hate him. But Homelander's it's a different thing with Anthony Starr. You hate him, but you love him. You love to watch him.
Dude, great comparison.
Yeah. One last thing. I also like how The Boys has evolved. It's not Butcher in charge anymore. It's more of a democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, which real quick, Butcher also has a time limit on his life now. I guess we didn't really cover that. So basically, he went to the doctor, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you got like 12 months to live, 18 tops," because he took that last dose of Temp V. So
about 2 seasons worth of life left.
Yeah, a couple. Well, who knows? There was a year gap between season 2 and season 3.
Oh,
yeah. Which I noticed on my rewatch of the first episode. There was like 3 different times. They're like, it's been a year. Like,
oh yeah, right.
A year has passed. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so what your rating was 9 point what?
3.
9 point trace. Okay, JD, rating, final thoughts. What you got, my man?
Oh man, okay. I think I would put it a point less than Stranger Things, but like I forgot my Stranger Things rating. I think it might have been an 8.6 or something.
That's what I was gonna say.
I think it was 8.6.
I think mine was like 0.1 over yours or something like that, and I had an 8.7 or an 8.8. I think.
Yeah, so I think I would go with about an 8.2 on this. My thing with this is its high points were super high, but there was, I think, I would not call it filler episode, but I feel like there was a lot of screen time focused on things I didn't care about. Like MM and Frenchie, I loved those characters in season 1, and now they kind of seem like they're just filling in screen time. They had some good moments in this season. The temporary V thing, I'm not liking too much. A lot of the flashbacks, there wasn't too many flashbacks, but that seemed like it was taking up screen time. But then, Soldier Boy gets into it, and everything after that, like the last 3 episodes were fantastic. So the high points were super high. I think it's my least favorite season, but I've only gone through The Boys once, so I'm not sure. It's like Stranger Things. Every season has been really good, but it might be my least favorite. I'm not sure yet. So let's go with an 8.2.
Okay. So I would put it above Stranger Things. It's just such a unique show. Like I said, there's not a lot of shows where I love, or at least really enjoyed, every single episode of a season. And I did feel that way about this. It's almost hard to pick out the best episode for me in this season. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite episode. It'd probably be between episode 6 and episode 8, but it's tough just because of the final fights. But there's so much other good stuff throughout it. I still really enjoy Kamiko and Frenchie's relationship. I will say Marvin a little bit more so. Yeah, I feel like, we started to at least find out his backstory about why he hates Soldier Boy and his whole family and why he's in this, which they kind of hinted at in the first couple of seasons. But I would say, yeah, as a whole, his screen time, I'm probably the least interested in. But I love this season. I heard a lot of people saying it wasn't anywhere close, or just wasn't as good as last season's finale. And I felt like when it ended, before I talked to anybody, I was like, oh, that was amazing. I loved that season. It leads into a ton of stuff. We're anticipating with Mallory and Soldier Boy. We're anticipating what's going to happen with Homelander's son and Homelander, how that relationship is going to progress. Head Popper's going to VP. Butcher's life is on a countdown. And we're also wondering, what is the relationship now between Butcher and Homelander? So this is the second time Homelander has walked away, leaving Butcher alive at the end of a season. And it just feels like their relationship, even though they both hate each other, it almost feels like it keeps getting a little closer and closer as time goes on. So I'm curious with how that's going to go down. I'm curious if Ryan is going to, is the reason why Homelander won't kill Butcher. Oh my God. Won't kill Butcher. Or if he just doesn't care anymore and he wants Butcher to die. I'm curious to see what that's going to play into too. Because at one point at the start of the season, Ryan loved Butcher. Like, he was so excited to see him. They really built on their relationship over the year in between season 2 and season 3. So there was emotion there. There was attachment. So I'm curious to see how that all plays out. And Butcher kind of stood up for Ryan in the final fight there. So maybe Ryan saw that. But I just feel like there's a lot of stuff to look forward to for next season.
Totally.
And the season ended, and yeah, I was texting people, holy crap, that was insane. I think I kind of feel like I liked it more than everybody else did a little bit because I was just so hyped on the finale. I would rate it above Stranger Things. I believe I rated Stranger Things an 8.7 or an 8.8. I would rate this, again, it's another one where I want to go flat. I would go 9.0 out of 10, but to avoid that, I will go...
Don't avoid it, just
I'll
do
it. I'll go 8.9. but if I could do a flat, I would do 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. So in comparison to the other two seasons, so season 1 finale is really weak. I just finished that up, and it's definitely the weakest of the finales. Like, there's some good stuff that happens, but it's a fight between A-Train and Starlight, which is pretty lame. It's Butcher and Homelander, which they have an intense standoff with Madeline, and Homelander fries her and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Butcher finds out Becca's alive at the very end and sees Ryan. But the rest of the episode just really wasn't interesting. But the season as a whole was. I mean, it was great. Yeah. But it's really hard. I honestly, after rewatching them all, because I just rewatched season 1 and 2, I would probably put this one at the top just because I love Soulja Boy. I love that intro to it. I mean, I love Stormfront 2 and season 2, but I felt like things didn't really start picking up with her until after halfway. I think I would go in opposite order. I think it's gotten better each season, in my opinion. So I think I would go 3 at the best, 2 at the second best, and 1 barely below 2, only because of the finale.
Really?
So let's go round table back to you, JD. Rank your seasons in order.
I think it's actually the opposite. I think
okay.
But then again, I have only watched it all once, and with a rewatch, it's such a new perspective because where it's going, so you could sit back and see how it develops. So it's so different. So
exactly,
it might change to a second rewatch. I just remember being so excited when I loved Stormfront. I know, she was the first person to come on and start shit talking Homelander and just doing all these funny things, like saying "fuck the corporate structure," even though I'm a part of the corporate structure.
Yeah,
it was super goofy, and then. I liked a lot of the action scenes when she ended up killing Kamiko's brother. That was super intense.
Brutal.
I liked Kamiko's brother. That storyline in general kind of worked for me at first. The ending fight scene, I think, hit more for me than this season's ending because it wasn't a forced feminism thing. It was all a woman stuff, but it was so badass. It was intense. It really hit hard. I mean, they just escaped from that weird super asylum. And they think they kind of got free. They got Homelander distracted, but then freaking Stormfront lands, and you're like, oh, shit. And then have an insane brawl. And season 1's hard because, season 1 is my favorite. You're right. The finale was probably the worst of all 3 seasons. But it still did have a twist ending where you found out Becca was alive. And the whole thing was so unique because, like I said before, you had an unpowered protagonist pulling his weight against superpowered antagonists. Mm-hmm. And it just showed the corporate structure and how it can manipulate people. And you had Starlight as from the perception of the audience being blindsided with these corporate manipulations,
right? And
seeing Homelander and Madeline Stillwell and how the structure played out. And I think that was... It seemed like such a unique story from any other comic book or any other superhero movie or show. So I think I'm going to go. Season 1 is my favorite, and then season 3 is my least favorite. Although it had some super high points, it's really tough. They're all close.
Yeah. Okay. And I know it's super hard to pick, but that just is another testament to how good this series is.
Yeah.
Caleb, what do you got?
Mine's the same as yours, Dave. I got 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Just because, once again, how good the writing is and the character development. I feel like we're just so much more attached to all these characters now in season 3 than we were in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more weight behind everyone's stories. And I also feel like this was Homelander's best season. Just acting wise, and he just had so many memorable scenes. by
Yeah.
himself, with others, sad, happy, mad, all of it.
Okay.
And when it
So
comes to season,
yeah.
I mean, I love all the seasons.
Yeah.
So there's not, I don't have a least favorite season really.
Right.
But
Yeah.
three's my favorite.
And that's totally how, like, if I had to do the rating scale, they would all be within like 0.3 of each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they're all very, very close. Like again, season one's got the originality. Really cool seeing the whole corruption thing and superheroes being bad. And I forgot that they even made Homelander out to seem kind of like a straight edge good person in the first few episodes still of season one. And then you find out, oh, he is a scumbag. But the finale weakens it a little. But again, yeah, it's just, man, and the way I got into the show, I'd never heard about it. I was living at Megan's, we were staying at her uncle's for a bit there. And I think I had like a few days off and I was the only one in the house. And I just binged because I saw it on Amazon Prime and somebody said something about like superheroes being evil. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I ended up binging like the first 3 or 4 episodes, I think. No, I watched the first 2 and was kind of taken off by like the male nudity all over the place and other weird stuff. But then I found my way back to it, rewatched it. And then, yeah, I ended up binging the whole season in like 24 hours. Like it just caught me so much. And again, I'd never heard of it before. And it's just such a good series. I would read the comics, but I've heard a lot of people say they're nowhere as good as the show. And the artwork is really goofy. So I don't think I'm going to touch those. But
yeah.
It's Garth Ennis. He did like the absolute best Punisher run out there.
Okay.
But yeah, the art does look
the
goofy.
illustrators, yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I've also heard the show's better than the comics. So I don't want to bother because there's a ton of content.
Right. Yeah. Well, and apparently in the comics, they've changed it a lot. So that's good. Like Black Noir in the comics is a clone of Homelander, apparently.
Weird.
Right.
Yeah. Super weird. Like, and there's 3 different Soldier Boys and a bunch of stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, great show. Last thing I just want to talk about was just Homelander. I just really want to touch on him again. He's just such, like JD said, he's one of the best villains of all lore, fantasy, sci-fi storytelling. Like, don't matter if it's a movie, book, comic books, like he's one of the top villains out there, in my opinion. He's just such a fascinating character. On one hand, he's this maniacal sociopath, ultimate power, filled with greed and jealousy, need for authority, but he also needs love. But at the same time of all that, he's this mentally fragile, sensitive character who portrays it so well in the scenes in which nobody's seeing him. And you really see the true Homelander emotions coming out. Again, even when he finds out Soldier Boy is back, like he has a panic attack. He walks away from them. He's like, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. Why does this always happen to me? It's like he's having like a little tantrum, dude. But you can just see it. He was never raised. He never had a childhood. He's still a child in his mind, much like Black Noir, but in a different way. Black Noir is a child because his brain is broken. Homelander is a child because of his upbringing and everything that led every little step of his life up to where he is right now. And he wants nothing more than to be loved and to have a parental figure who truly cares for him and loves him. Like, he just wants love and acceptance, possibly even more than the authority and power that he wants. Like, but the thing is the need for that love is so strong that it fuels the latter to an insane level. And he's just this absolute maniacal psychopath who just wants love. And it's just such an interesting dynamic for a character. And he's just one of the most intimidating villains I've seen. And I mean, I've touched on it a lot already, but that's just a great character. Really great character.
Totally.
Did you guys have any other final thoughts on the series as a whole or season 3?
I'm upset they missed the Emmy cutoff by 3 days because I feel like Anthony should be nominated for all the awards.
Dude, yeah, that's a bummer.
And by the time next year's comes out, they'll have forgotten about the show already.
Yeah, worst timing possible for that. I mean, you know, who cares? Boys is going to kill it. But yeah, it would have been cool for them to sweep up at the Emmys.
Totally.
JD, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's cool to have like a superhero genre seems pretty cliche to some point. It's really cool to see a comic book situation come to life in such a unique, well written way. It's so different, and it's such a breath of fresh air. It does not follow the established order at all. It does its own thing. So it's really cool to watch.
Yeah. All right. So we're going into season 4. Just real quick. Homelander's got his son. Soldier Boy's out. A-Train kind of got disowned by his brother. And he lost Popclaw, which I forgot how much he actually cared about Popclaw. After she died in season 1, he was having like mental breakdowns with Huey. He's like, you killed the only person I cared about. Like, totally forgot about how much he really cared about her, even though he's the one who killed her. But then his brother, tells him he never wants to see him again. Get the hell out of my house. Like, brutal. So I'm wondering what his motivation going forward is going to be. What's his arc for the next season? Is he going to like start helping Huey and Starlight out, or is he going to just double down and try to get Homelander's acceptance because he's lost everything else? He's got a new heart though, so now I feel like he's going to be a decent part of the next season. They want to give him a new heart and get him back up to full speed and not use him. So I'm curious to see like what his motivation is going forward and whose side he's actually going to end up being on.
I see A-Train continuing his redemptive arc. Yeah. And I see the Deep being the one that goes down the dark path and probably screws himself over in the end. Homelander kills him. A-Train they'll probably both get killed by Homelander, honestly, but it'll be in different ways. A-Train will do something to help Huey or Starlight. The Deep. Actually, I could see the Deep doing something to help Starlight out right before he dies, just because of how their first interaction together.
Yeah, guilt weighing in on him.
His gills weighing on him.
Those things are disgusting, by the way.
So disturbing.
Rewatching season 1 and whatever props they use for that, it's just it's not CGI. They put something on there and it's like flapping around. Ugh, it's disgusting. The girl fingers him in the gills. One of the most disturbing scenes. Oh. And that's saying something for the boys because they are at the top of the list of any TV series I've ever seen that has the most disturbing, hard to watch, but hard to look away scenes. Like,
for sure.
Like if I have to see Love Sausage one more freaking time, I'll probably just skip it a little bit. I'll keep watching the series, but I'm going to be unhappy. Okay. You hear me, Eric Kripke? No more Love Sausage. All right. So we're going into season 4.
Bring back Seth Rogen.
Oh God. Oh, Seth Rogen is so gross.
Like, what's his name? Mr. Comes a Lot?
I don't even know. Sir Comes a Lot, something like that. Yeah, it's just disgusting God. Human being.
Sounds like something I'd Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, predictions for season 4. Start off with JD last time. Caleb, what's your predictions for season 4? Just real quick. What's gonna be the main point? How's it gonna end?
It's not the last season, no. I bet you they go 5 seasons.
So yeah, it hasn't mentioned anything about a final season yet.
Well, there's gonna be 4 new members of the 7. I'm sure they will fill the roster back out.
Mm-hmm.
Is Butcher gonna take Compound V?
We forgot to talk about that. Yeah.
There's actually there's when Kamiko takes the Compound V, they made sure to show twice that thing was still halfway full.
Yes.
Like they zoomed in on it 2 times to let you know that there's still a little bit of this left, and if someone needs some full-on Compound V, they could use it in the future.
Yes. Like deliberately. Yeah. Like it's going to be used.
And I mean, Huey's not going to do it. I think Huey's definitely done with that stuff now. He was having his man fits the whole season, and then finally in the end helped out Starlight and realized what he was doing was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So I think Butcher, to save his life and to compete with Homelander, could do it because he's just rock bottom.
Yeah, no, I can see that. So you got what, Butcher and Homelander final fight, full on V Butcher.
Well, not this season. That has
Okay.
to be the last part.
Okay. JD
And a lot of
yeah,
Ryan
sorry.
too. A lot of Ryan. A lot of Ryan
Oh,
in the next
shit,
season.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, forgot about Ryan. JD, prediction real quick.
Yeah, Ryan will be the Robin to Homelander's, him being Batman. But no, I think at some point they're going to raise the stakes as Homelander being the prime villain to the point where he is the dictator of the planet, just like Superman in Injustice. They're going to raise the stakes that high before the heroes end up winning. So, and I also think A-Train is going to join the team. There's been like little hints at it, like we just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to join the protagonist team, and somehow him and Huey are going to have to put their differences aside, and hopefully they could do a justice to the power of a speedster. But
okay.
Yeah, so that's it. I think A-Train will become a protagonist, and Homelander will become the dictator of the planet.
Okay. All right. I will go with my prediction. So I think they're going to use Soldier Boy to try and create that weapon that they thought that was already out there. Like they thought there was a super powered weapon that could kill Supes or depower them to wipe out the Compound V out of their blood, which is essentially what Soldier Boy's blast did to Kimiko. It took all the Compound V out of her blood, which don't ask me how that works. So I think they're going to experiment on him again, which he's going to have to go through all that again, which I kind of feel for him. He's getting Winter Soldiered twice. But I think they're going to try to create that weapon out of Soldier Boy. And I think I agree with you. I think A-Train, like I was saying earlier, kind of hinting at, I feel like he's going to end up helping the boys. And like Caleb said, they showed it multiple times. So my guess after episode 7 was that Butcher and Huey both took the 10th V, and to save Huey's life, Butcher injects him with the Compound V before Huey dies, and then Butcher dies. That was my guess for the end of the season, but probably stupid because they're not going to kill Butcher at the end of season 3. But that was my prediction. So I'm just going to go with. I agree. I know it's boring, but I think Butcher is going to take the Compound V too. I know my prediction's kind of taking both of your guys' stuff, but the original thing is Soldier Boy. I think they're going to make a weapon to fight the Supes with out of Soldier Boy's genetics.
That's a good one because that's what they they thought at first this season.
So they have the idea; it's already there.
And they have them on ice in America now.
Mm-hmm. And Mallory really has a thing against Supes, obviously. She was the one who recruited Butcher at the start of this after Butcher's wife disappeared. She was the one who gave the Butcher spiel to Butcher himself. And then she lost her grandkids to Lamplighter. And there's a lot of history there. And she was Aunt Grace for a bit for Ryan. She was taking care of Ryan for a minute there. So I don't know. I think she's definitely going to be involved a lot in trying to create a weapon out of all that. But I'm excited to see Soldier Boy again. I hope they don't keep him on ice for the majority of the season. I'll say that. I really hope they don't. I hope we get more out of Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy because that's been really fun. All right. So you guys got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Beautiful.
I think that's it.
Beautiful. So that's going to wrap up our episode on The Boys Season 3. We thank you so much for coming and joining us. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, both at Why So Sidious Pod. Go ahead and subscribe, rate, review, and download any episodes on here. We'd surely appreciate it. And you can continue to check Spotify, Apple, or any of the main podcasting platforms for our episodes to be dropping every Monday, starting in about a week here. That'll start to be our schedule, so you can be sure to check the start of every week. Look for our new episode. Start your week off right. And we thank you for joining us tonight. And you stay
classy, San Diego.
You stay classy, San Diego. Nailed it.